Welcome back to another episode of Leading Crypto, a beautiful Friday roundup. It's a new month. I've got my brother here right by the Christmas tree, as promised yesterday. We've got Max over there in Dubai. He shaved off his mustache. No longer no shave November. I don't know if you guys can even recognize him, but he is a completely reborn gentleman. So
women everywhere let out a cry when it happened. Like they don't know what happened, but they felt it.
I cried.
Yes. Oh man. Well, it's Friday, right? So it's a nice relaxing stream. We're gonna kind of take a peek at a couple things. Magic's gonna be using my desktop here to kind of cover a brand new, basically a blank Bitcoin chart. We're going to go over a couple things from previous days.
Yeah. So basically what I want to do is I talked about this in the last stream I was on. I said, there's one level I'm going to give you guys. It's 17,334. And it's a setup I gave the group a few days in advance. If it hits, I'll cover it live on stream for the public. So I'm going to basically build that chart and setup and then what I think is going to happen next. And we'll go from there. So how did we call the exact dollar? And, you know, the title's kind of clickbaity where it says, is it whale manipulation? Are we market makers? No, guys, it was technical analysis that called it. And the TA is playing out. So just remember, put the levels on your charts, do your due diligence, and then take the best trades. That's literally all you have to do. So yeah, we're going to dive right into it. I am pulling this up on my computer because I do want to watch the chat a little bit. That way I can keep up. And we'll knock it out. So there's a couple different things that we're going to do.
I was going to say, you should just like put your screen up against it with your chart up against the thing.
Richard says they'll be lapped up talking about the first coin to blow off top.
Oh, well, it's a blow off top. If you know what I'm saying.
All right, guys. So we have a blank Bitcoin chart here. I'm going to have to get used to your mouse, this whole MacBook thing. Oh, man. Which way? Okay,
the stream's dead. I forgot your MacBook guy. The stream's
Yeah, it's like an invisible.
Okay, it's all right.
I'm teaching a boomer over here, guys.
Yeah,
bear with me.
You guys gotta remember, I'm an Android girl, so this is all new. And your mouse is not nearly as fluid as mine. This thing moves.
Wow.
This thing moves.
Just shots fired.
This thing moves like not like butter. Anyways, so first things first, you know, when you're looking at this, and we talked about this zone that you had to get back above right around, I think it was 16,909 was the top end of it. And essentially what you're looking to do is just flip some resistance into support. And you got that move. And so once you have that, you have to look and say, well, where is my next? Let's go to this here. We'll go hide all. And I wonder if it's going to come back on every time that I do that. It does. Okay.
You can, we can just take all this off, honestly.
We'll go to
just delete it all. If you just highlight it and then do that. I got you.
You got it?
Yeah. The old
Sorry, guys.
Boomer moment there, man.
Not necessarily. We're going to blame TradingView on this one.
Yeah.
Just create a new chart. Just click on the top right.
That's what I wanted to do, is just do a new blank one. I was going to delete everything. Look at that.
Yep.
We're literally going.
I'm going to build it fresh no matter what.
Right. Okay. So first things first, we'll go to the daily. Okay. So this is going to be like a quick 5 to 10 minute tutorial. Go to the daily. What did we say we needed to see? Well, realistically, we said 16,909. Make sure our magnet is on. Perfect. All our settings are different. Not that I don't. There we go. Is that it? Yeah, 16,909. I'm going to change the color. We'll make this solid for you guys so that you guys can actually see what's going on. This was the area we were looking to get back above, right? And then we said, where are our targets after that? Well, you have the Q2 low right here at 17.5. And you have this like daily level up here as well. Plus we have a hand-generated caveman pivot. And then you have your monthly pivot above that at like $18,000. So you've got targets to the upside. However, you know, things rarely go there in a straight line, especially after a big move like this. So the setup was as so. You go down to like a 4 hour and you start zooming in, and you can see that you've got a very clear structure here, like an ABC. And that was really what I was after. Looking at the timing of it, it didn't quite pan out timing-wise the way I wanted, but it was pretty close. So you essentially had a channel here, and these are really nice trades when they're given. And this is why I took the trade I did. And I gave my stop loss the day before. They all joked it was too tight because expecting 17,334. So I've already taken 2 profits on that trade, and I'll show you why I took those profits as well and where we took them at. There we go. So you can see I have a really nice channel here, and you did front run the high of it, and we'll get to that in a second. So this is essentially an AB equals CD pattern, and then you had some Fibonacci convergence. So not using anything to do with volume. We've got our local gold pocket, right? And then you want to hold shift so I can bring this over. Thanks, man.
Teamwork.
Yeah, teamwork. So it doesn't get the exact high. It's how did you find the exact high? So now we're going to go over and we're going to get our trend-based tool because we want to now project the trend as well. And you're just going to go from the high to low here. And you can see that you've got your nice high. And now you start to see how things are coming into play. And you can see there's your 1-to-1 at 17,334. I'm going to drag this over as well. Bueno, and you can see exactly where it touched there, right at the high. And the high of this candle is literally to the dollar. So it gave us our zone of interest and that we're looking for this pattern to complete. And is it a specific harmonic? It is. It's probably the most basic one you can learn. It's an AB equals CD. We're looking for basically, we're looking for moves that mirror each other, right? That's all we're looking for. Something like this. And that's what you got. And you can see you have a very nice diamond pattern here. You want to look at it. And you can see how clean this is. It's a very nice trade. The only thing that threw me off was the timing on it was just a little bit off, but that's okay. I said the timing needed to be relatively close though, because if it went too far, I'll tell you what we're looking for next, because I do think that we're still ultimately looking for that potentially. So you're just looking for A to B, right? We're looking to see what was the timing it took to get to A to B, and then we project from C. And you can see that the 1-to-1 came in pretty close to the high here. You got the swing fail a few hours later. So about 16 hours off. But, you know, in trading, you're not meant to be perfect. You're just meant to, you know, take good trades. So where do we go from here? Well, we know why this was resistance now. We have this nice channel. And we need to see what does price need to do in order to, you know, keep going higher. So if we are looking at that ABC, again, you could say go back here and we'll go ahead and box off this area, which you can see this is where we've come down to. This is now your zone of support. And that is going to be right here. And you can see you've come right back to it. So this was the top of our AB equals CD, if you recall. And the reason I bring that up is because it pairs nicely with this EQ here, but also if we were to go back out to now a weekly time frame, right? And we talked about this at the beginning of the week. What do we do every week, guys? We mark out our weekly highs and lows. So we'll take a channel now and hold shift for me. My lovely assistant CVO here. And we can go back to the daily and the 4-hour or whatever we want to do. And we could say, look at that. We're back testing last week's range. Very, very clean, very easy. That's why it's your take profit. I believe there's a single print below there as well. I'm not on XO, but if I recall off the top of my head, there is a single print down here as well that we want to see defended. Because if you start finding acceptance back into this region, well, you can see you've got a lot to fill. And typically an AB equals CD is a reversal pattern. It's a really good one too. Like I track these on all time frames for that reason, because these generally will result in great trading opportunities, whether it's longs or shorts. But this is what you're looking at. You're just trading this like a channel. So very, very simple, very, very easy. Now, where can we go from here if things decide to move up from here? Like, let's say this holds as support, which as of right now, I see no reason why it won't going into the weekend. But, you know, it might. Like I said, like I've taken 2 take profits at this point. Right here's my second one. It was 16,822. So I didn't like take it at the exact low. It was off about $100. But, you know, again, trading's not about being perfect. It's about catching the move, getting money, and getting out of the market. Leave some to run and looking to see if it comes back into this region. Otherwise, my stop loss is at break even. And if I get stopped out, I don't care. From here, though, you do have the potential of still going a little bit higher. And we've talked about this in the group. You can see that you got a really nice local swing high here. And I believe it's this one. Let me take a look. What's the high there? Yeah, 17,170.
It's really cute when you hold each other's shift buttons.
You like that?
I might not be in my lap, but who is in my lap?
Oh yeah.
We got Jack, man. Jack is chilling Friday afternoon, tongue out, son.
Look at that.
So basically, we'd be looking at this from a timing perspective, like so. And we would be saying, okay, if we were to continue up and get another move to the high of this channel and formally tap the channel high, it would probably look something like this right here. And we would be getting a nice butterfly, right? We're just drawing charts like so, basically. It'd be something like this, right? You can see you've got the 1272 and like at least a 2.0 extension. Oh, we're in log. No wonder this looks funny. Add a log. And you can see you get something kind of like this. This is where I would be looking towards. back at the channel high here. And that would imply that we make a high over the weekend on like Saturday or Sunday and take these local highs into this. And it's still resistance. This also gets us to what did we say the main target was if we're holding this level of support, that quarter two low. So now things start to tie together, and this is kind of how you formulate a trading plan. You can straight up just, take the trades in between. Like I took this trade off of AB equals CD. However, I'm fully aware that if I get stopped out of that, my next opportunity is just above, and that might present the next best short. If you get above that level, we do have, like I said, $18,000 on the table, which is, what was it? The quarter three low or the October low was 18,090, I think, or 18,009. I can't remember which one. And, then we're looking at back testing the old range, and we can talk about those targets much higher, which are like 19,150, but not really until we're above 17.5. So that's kind of one of those things where you should know about those price targets, but you're not really trading for them yet. So I do think that the next opportunity is either A, losing this level and coming back down below and probably taking out C here, because the technical target of this, if this is to continue to play out, right, is going to be the 618. You're going to want to see the gold pocket of these. So this is going to be your first target's obviously always going to be like your B leg, because you're looking to back test the old range highs, which that's what the B leg is serving the purpose of. But after that, you're looking to come into the C area right here. Hold that shift for me one more time. Boom, right here, guys, bottom of the channel, gold pocket. Get a good bounce here, but if it rolls over from there, you're breaking down from this channel, and then we go back to our horizontal one, and we say we're probably going to challenge the low if this gold pocket was broken. So if we start losing this, this is where I would expect to go. Is probably like 16.1. The single print only goes down to like 16.4, and I believe your November NPOC is 16.544 according to the 40 tick on TradingView. So that's really how I'd be trading it. Very, very simple, very easy. Leo has a question. Do I think that the Bitcoin bottom is in? No. To be very blunt, I do not think that the bottom is in, because we just don't have anything to say that it is. I think it's really premature to be calling bottoms the way people have. And I've explained this before, but everybody says max pain is something that's going to come in like Corona crash, right? That's max pain, like this big wipeout event. And honestly, guys, it's not. You have to think if they're deleveraging the market, and we just had this massive bull run that's to 69K. And before that, we went to 20K from like $150. And it's a multi-year deleveraging event, essentially, where, this market, basically it was a bubble and it popped. It's probably going to take a long time to do that. And so maximum pain is literally these long ranges that we got. Like we got one that went all the way to 47K that was started at 32K. And that lasted from, January to March 28th when we made the high. And then we actually didn't break out of that range until close to May. So actually it was June. It was June 13th, because that was our 1-to-1 fib time from the butterfly at the all-time high. But, so you're going to get these ranges where you're going to get these pumps up into resistance. Still hasn't reclaimed any ground or done anything of significance. People get excited and start saying the bottom's in. You guys have seen all the creators do it. They make these clickbait headlines. Bottom is in for Bitcoin. I'm calling it. I'm the one. I was first. And they've all been wrong. So max pain is sideways and down until it's not. And what we would need to see is 17.5 reclaimed on like a monthly closing basis. And then after that, we got to see 19, I say 19.6, the previous all-time high on Bitstamp, but you could probably say 19,150 is close enough. I think that point of control and TPO point of control there is probably a good indicator. So until we see something like that, Leo, I'm not really in the department of calling macro bottoms. Like I think that's very, very premature. I do think we'll see 13,880 and probably that 10 to 12K zone. I just think people are ahead of themselves because they want it all at once, and that's really not how markets work. So I think that they're going to have to be patient. I'm not at my computer, but on the next one, I'll work up some fib time on when I think it is, but I can tell you it's summer. In the summertime is when I'm expecting the bottom to be in. If we're going to get continued downside and this bear market continues, I think it would be midsummer of 2023 when we might see the bottom. And that would allow Bitcoin to go to some of these lower valuations over time and, do its thing kind of like it has been. So if the bottom's in now, though, I don't really care. I'm not eager to put money on the line and just be like, well, nope, this is the bottom. I'm all in, because there's this misconception that you have to short the exact top or long the exact bottom. It's a really dangerous game to get into because you find yourself being wrong more than you're going to be right. So famous trader was Jesse Livermore, and he said that, basically, oh, he's all right. Sitting on your hands basically and waiting for the move to confirm its next direction is insurance for your position. And so that's kind of the stance I took, because we had a macro range from basically 28k to 69k, or well 58k, whatever you want to call it. We didn't spend a lot of time up in the 60s, but I didn't take my swing short where I'm like, all right, I'm not closing this position until after until like April, and it's up 1,700%. Did I catch the exact top on that short? No. But am I going to extract a ton of money from this bear market? It's going to be a great trade. It was just a matter of patience. And then when the direction was definitely confirmed, it's like, okay, this range is no longer looked at as accumulation. This is probably going to be a distribution range. I need to make sure that I'm positioned accordingly, because the drawdown on this could be very severe. And that's really how I go about it. And so it's the same with upside. So if we start reversing from here and we start seeing the signs that we need to see, on like material closing basis, weeklies, monthlies, quarterlies, then yeah, I mean, bottoms take time. You're going to have a time to get in. You might not get the exact low, but I'm going to catch a lot of that move. I'm going to make money off of it. So that doesn't mean I'm going to wait for 30K to be reclaimed or anything before I get bullish. That's a bad idea. But like, I've got triggers, like I said, and they're relatively close. 17.5 is not that far away. Same with like 19.1. I mean, imagine the bottom was 15.5, like this was the bottom. And in 3 years, it goes back up to like all-time highs or even close to it. Do you care if you bought in at 19K or 15K? Like, you really don't. And for me, it's as simple as closing my short. Like my short is a hedge. So like once I close it, I go right back into Bitcoin spot, and I'm just no longer leveraged for downside to protect that capital. So, that's the way I manage my portfolio and my capital. Everybody does it differently, but this was how you could have found the exact top, guys. It was all TA. It was a level that was given in advance because that's what the TA said. It was nothing. I won't want to say it's nothing special, but it is one of those things where it was a very simple setup. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, man, I wish I would have seen this a little bit sooner, because I probably would have traded it to the upside as well. But sometimes you don't get to trade it both ways. Sometimes you catch one really good trade. And I was just telling CVO that one trade paid for this entire trip. So I mean, it's
always nice.
Yeah, I was excited about it when it happened. I was like, oh, I'm going to pay for this entire trip in one trade. That's great. So got the exact setup I wanted. I was patient. I even told the guys in the group where my stop loss was. They all made fun of me because it was 17,369, because that's my favorite number basically. And
Max tried to stop him out.
But Max did say that he was going to come for my stop. You did say that, and I told him go ahead and try. But yeah, so I mean, very, very simple. So if there are questions, I'll be around. I'm going to turn it over to CVO and Max here, but just spam the chat, and I'm happy to chime in. It's just we're sharing a rig right now, so
the old rig share. Perfect, man. Max, you want to take a look at some order flow and open interest? I saw him in the background there, blowing smoke rings.
Yeah,
nobody was looking
back there vaping.
Oh God, I need to just not do that when you guys are watching. It's embarrassing. It's almost embarrassing when you pair stand up.
Oh
my God.
Yeah, I'm calling you out. You call me out, I'm calling you out.
If you take all the low-hanging fruit, bro, what am I going
to
pick? Okay, so I'm going to go over pretty much what's happened today and what we were calling out in the group earlier. We had the low in after whatever occurred yesterday. Had a low put in at 1 a.m., which is always my favorite time because I'm never there to trade it. And then, as you can see, you came down. You had the interesting thing to spot here, and this is what you need to be looking at when you're looking at these type of things, is you had delta increasing. I feel like I repeat myself almost all the time when it comes to this thing. Delta increasing, open interest increasing. Okay, so what is that? That's longs entering the market. So if you've got longs entering the market, you're going to be, and they're not really pushing the price anywhere, you're going to be looking for their stop loss. Okay, where's their stop loss? Well, it's below this low. Did we take it when we had that first attempt down? No, we didn't. We effectively had, call it double bottom or whatever. We'd failed to take the liquidity below there. So all these longs, unless they were scared and got out, and clearly some were over leveraged. Look at that guy with 700K gone. But other than that, there was not really anything that occurred there that made you think, okay, we're going to go back up to the upside now. So what happened? Well, for the rest of the day, more longs came in, open interest continued to increase the whole time. It was at like, I think I found it in the group where I mentioned it. 6:30 in the morning, I like to take the previous day low, I had that, and this is the current setup that I'm looking for. Um, that's SFP was literally the only thing I wanted all day. It wasn't giving it to me, but instead it was building on the fact that there's more longs coming into the market here. We're not really doing anything considering. So what can we do to trade it? Well, I got absolutely spanked today. Not spanked, but it wounded me because I missed out. And I'm going to go over that now. So this was the Asia high. One of the really one of the great things is trading highs like this. If you break up your day into the sessions, the markets that come through, you've got Asia, London, New York. If you break up your day into them sessions, there is so much interaction between them. And what happened is you came up during the London session, you took the high of the Asia session, and then you swung failed it. Now, this is out of, I think, the 4 possible Asia highs that were taken this week. This is the only one. If you'd have traded it like a perfect SFP, how do you trade a perfect SFP? Well, stop loss goes above the high. Okay, if you trade it like that, this is the only one of the whole week. So 1 in 4 that did not hit the first take profit. Wounded, because then it came up, tapped my my stop loss, and then you had the jobs report come out, the news where you check on unemployment in America, and it has a big part to play in the interest rates that they bring out, and it was actually the exact same as last week. So last month. So what that means is it's kind of thrown an oddball into the game where when Jay Powell was speaking at the start of the week, he was kind of softening on his view, but then this came in and it was the exact same as before. So then you're like, okay, it brings you back to the middle. Like, where's it going to go now? And, the market didn't take it well. It dumped. And I was wounded because it just stopped me out of my position. I then dumped. And I was literally talking through everything in the group. It was quite funny for me. But then at the same time, as soon as I saw it drop, I just said, bollocks. I was raging. It was so annoying. But where did you come to? Well, you came and you took the lows. If I put my mark
on the Jay Powell speech, not to interrupt you by any means, he did take a softer approach, basically to prep people that they're going to go 50 basis points. I think in December, I think it would be really unlikely they go 75. But he did mention in his speech that and if you follow the board members that make commentary as well outside of these meetings, they've all said that the one thing that's concerning is the strong labor market. Still, labor market is one of the driving forces into inflation as well, because it's dollars into the economy, things like that. But they have mentioned repeatedly that it's not just about CPI, that the labor numbers do need to start reflecting some of the actions that they're taking. So will be really interesting to see, kind of like you're saying, it threw a wrench in there where it's like you're still not seeing people are going out and getting jobs, and we don't need that. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it is definitely an interesting time. The 14th, I think, is the next. Is that the actual rate hike announcement, or is that the CPI? I can't remember.
I think that's rate hike.
Yeah, rate hike. I think that's when they're going to announce their next rate hike, which will be 50 basis points more than likely. I think the market's largely trying to price that in. But someone had mentioned that they're talking about going a full another 100 basis points beyond the 50 that they're doing now over the next 2023 year. So if we're going to 4.5%, that would be imply they're going to at least 5.5% by middle of 2023. So they're not going to stop raising rates and taking liquidity out of the market. Essentially, they're going to continue to restrict going forward. They just might slow the pace of it, meaning instead of 75, you might get a 50. But I think they'll go 50 and then 50 again, to be honest with you. I don't think they're going to go to 25s. I think you'll see another 50 basis point after this, which is still a sizable rate hike, So it will be interesting. That's why I don't think the bottom's in as well, Leo, if you're still in the chat, is because policy says that there's no reason for it. And the SPX did finally hit the target on that shark. It did go up and take the high, but that shark did play out and it did come into that resistance we were looking for. We just had to be a little more patient by a couple days. Jay Powell's softness sent the market into a tizzy that day.
A tizzy.
But sorry to interrupt you, but I know you were just kind of going off on the where you were looking to take out, but I just wanted to touch on.
I don't know all that stuff. You're the one that I look to for that information, so always happy for you to step in. But yeah, basically, we came down. We had a huge drop off in open interest, and I will say it wasn't that big of a sell off. Volume was high, okay, but it wasn't that high. It was only 41 million. You just go and look at the highs we've had as of late, where it's the rises that we've had. They've been on huge volume, like nearly double this. So the fact that it's only 41 million, the fact that there's only 9 million negative open interest and only 7.6 million negative delta, it's not a huge sell-off. And where did we come? Well, we came and we swung, failed the low, tapped the previous week high, which we have been saying for a long time now that this is the level to hold. You didn't close out the PVA on the hourly, but hey-ho, it's minor at this point. But then you came back up with a solid buyback. Okay, you've had a solid buyback here. Plenty of buying imbalances, increasing open interest, positive delta. Okay, looks good. And you literally bounced along the previous day low. It looks good.
Yeah. Go on. I was going to ask you, is there an NPOC at 17,131? I'm trying to get caught up on my charts.
Let me go and find that.
So it's the local gold pocket.
Which one?
So on TradingView, it's giving the previous day NPOC at 17,131, but I'm not on EXO right now, so I didn't look to see if the daily NPOC from yesterday was there as well. I was curious what EXO said.
Yesterday, yeah. Yesterday is 16,950.
Okay, yeah. The 40 ticks got it at 17,131.
Yeah, it's way higher. It's up here.
Yeah, and they've got the gold pocket there. So, and that puts you just above the local high that we made in the session. So that would put you as a New York session high into the gold pocket, into that TradingView NPOC. That would be a nice short if it gets that high.
Yeah, and I actually mentioned that spot just before we came in, because when I got stopped out, I mentioned in the group, I was like, what do we do now? Because when you get stopped out of a solid trade, arguably what I should have done is jump straight back in as soon as it lost the low. However, I kind of was like, I've just been stopped out of this. There's news literally slap bang about to come out. Am I going to jump into a trade that I've just been stopped out on? And the answer was no. But in hindsight, regret. But
It depends on the trade. If it's an SFP, it's like I told you guys. So one of the things with that trade with the AB equals CD was they were like, what happens if you get stopped out? I was like, I'll probably retake the trade, because if the setup is still there, it's still valid. I just got stopped out. And as long as I'm using proper risk management, it doesn't matter. My risk reward is still there. I just have to re-enter the position on a better entry. And so that is going to happen. You can't be afraid just to pull the trigger again, but you can't throw risk management out the door on the second attempt thinking I'm going to get it all back. You just have to keep playing the same game, because that's how you build up proper statistics and win rates and, drawdowns, things like that. Like, it's just part of it. So, but Max is right. 9 times out of 10 guys, if you lose a trade like that, don't jump into another one, unless like in your mind, you've already prepared yourself for that scenario, which that was something I was looking for.
It was mainly the fact that the news was literally 5 minutes coming out, where I was like, no, I'll just let it, because normally when we've had this news come out recently, like no matter what it's been, you've gone up and then gone down, or gone down and then go up. So I was like, if I'd enter now, I'm just gonna get stopped out. So I was like, I could get a better position, then it just kind of creeped down and then dumped. So it is what it is. But yeah, I'm kind of looking for that spot too. But also, I just want to mention the fact that we did have the dump on the markets, came down to just above the golden pocket, and it's had a pretty solid buyback. Dixie also has still failed to reclaim the main low from back in the start, like mid-November. If it claims that, that's a problem. But if it's can't, and Bitcoin and the SPX has only dumped the way that it has, it's actually not too bearish. The markets have held well, if you ask me, considering.
Yeah, it's getting rejected at the prior 105.34 low that we went down to previously right now.
Yeah,
Dixie's disappointing me, because I was giving it the benefit of the doubt to make this move up, and not happening, man. It is what it is. It's part of it.
Hitting its head. But yeah, the the buyback here has been pretty good up until a point. You start to have some people selling, but maybe they bought in at low, or maybe they're bought in this range, you got to think, because people that, it's like LRA, which is locked in range analysis. People that have entered long in this range, because I imagine there will be some, and there will be some that haven't put a stop loss. But then when they've seen price go down as heavy as it has, and they've heard a little bit of bearish news, when price comes back up to where they entered, they'll be thinking, oh, I've just saved, this loss that I could have had. I just want to get out. I just want to get out of the position. It happens to us all when you have that psychological trick where it's like, okay, you just need to get out of this position. That's all this will be here when you've come up and you start to see the declining open interest. It'll just be people thinking, I just want out of this trade because it's caused them a bit of stress. Maybe they didn't take profits, didn't have a stop loss, didn't get stopped out, and they just want to get out for break even, which is fair enough. But other than that bit on the chart, which I don't want to make that bigger, it's been an okay buyback. Now, you really have to hold the low because, like Magic said, if I go to the TPO chart, the actual TPO started here, but then we've obviously dipped into it a couple times. So I would, kind of just know that this area is the TPO area, pretty much where we've got this buying tail occurring now. If you to mark out this buying tail, I know that if you start to really, come back down and test this low again, effectively you're breaking back into what was the single print because it did start from here. So if you start to test this buying tail that we've now got, which is a very solid buying tail, but it has to be held. If it's not held, well, you can look to close this inefficiency on the chart because that's what it is. It is an inefficiency. And if you remember from the stream that we had the day that this occurred, it was 30th of November. So what was that? Two days ago now. I actually mentioned that the move up was on huge decreasing open interest. We almost had no buyers until this section on the chart. So, if you start to make your way into it, there is no support there. There's nothing there to really hold you up. So if this buying tail doesn't hold now and we don't start to go up and test, where are we looking for the monthly open, for the daily untapped, which I've kindly labeled twin. So, if we're not claiming the daily open and not going up to our twin level, then we can expect that single print to be taken. So that's kind of what I'm looking for now. Hold this, and if we can hold it, start to claim some of these levels, well, you can trade it level to level. You can trade the daily open, close out these PVAs. That should be a take profit one, and then close out, move to the space, but it has to claim the daily open here because it is at resistance. So if you didn't get in on the trade from the previous day low, you've missed it. That trade's gone, in my opinion. You have to really claim this resistance now, and it has to be a solid claim. What do you need for it to be a solid claim? Well, you need buyers to be interested. You need the buying that occurred down here. And again, this isn't, I say it was good. It was a good buyback, but you want to see, a really good buyback. For it to be like a perfect claim, you want to see a lot of buyers interested. You want to get that market structure, which is the basic stuff. You want to see a market structure come up, back test, and then you bounce from there. And if you've got buyers and open interest increasing, great. That's your claim, and then you can trade it level to level. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for now. Hopefully I haven't confused anyone too much. But yeah.
No, that was good, man. Always insightful as well. And it's crazy, man, because for anybody watching this, Max, he essentially trades pretty exclusively off the footprint chart. He very rarely even goes over to TradingView. I mean, he puts the alerts there, I'm sure, but
the basic gas levels.
Yeah, it's very, very basic. I mean, he literally just looks at this and is able to successfully, trade off that, which is very, very rare in my opinion. So always a great deal when you go through this and give your insight and outlooks on it too. I think that's very helpful for anybody looking to get into this. So
say it's not rare. It just takes time to get used to. And once you're used to it, it's kind of like you don't want the other stuff to trade with. Like Magic he started with harmonics, and that's where he got all his stuff. And then you started with patterns as well, Paul. So like I never got into patterns, and then I was kind of beaten between everything until I found this. And this is what I've kind of just pushed myself into. It's not rare; it just takes a lot of time.
I'd say it's pretty rare. I mean, I don't come across too many that.
It's fairly new in terms of like a nuance. So yeah, it would say it's rare. It's just one of those things where like not as many people are doing it because it's difficult. It takes time, like you said, and there's not as much information out there. You know, a lot of this stuff is still kind of coming together, but the blueprint for, you know, how we do things is a little bit different than some of the other guys out there, you know, and most of them, I'm not going to name any names, are cookie cutters, and they're just regurgitating something they all read the same book. I actually was rereading the book this weekend, and I was telling them that, like, verbatim, these guys are literally just stealing from this book and then calling it their own, which I don't really agree with. You should give credit to the author, but it is what it is. So,
yeah, no, all good. Traditionally, I would kind of start covering Ethereum and things, but like we're pretty much in the same position, honestly. And like today, I kind of want to just go over, pretty much went over Bitcoin at exhaustion and in a good way. So, and that kind of was what the title was alluding to. Obviously, we were trying to point out the scam wicks and the whale manipulation, or was it the TA? So, hopefully, we
secretly, Paul's just hungover, so he doesn't want to.
Dude, I'm hurting today, man. Oh my god, I greeted my brother here with a whole entire magnum of wine last night.
I stuck to beer. I was smart.
I don't know
like,
what
I drank
was...
the beer. I was like, nah, you can drink all the wine.
Jesus, I did too. I drank it all. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. You got the we call it the red head, right? Where the morning the head's just splitting. So, yeah, I'm in rough shape. So we're gonna call it an early day here. We get with the weekly roundup. It's a nice 36-minute video too. So I think we pounded in some good.
I'm gonna take Paul to the gym and let him sweat it out. He said he's like, no,
I'm not going to the gym with you.
Try then. Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, I feel like I end up puking on a regular day with him, so I'm gonna save that one for maybe tomorrow.
They have a sauna there.
Oh,
do they?
Yeah, they do.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, that's what you need, man.
All right, yeah.
Wow. Go chill in the sauna. You'll feel like $1 million by the time it's lunch.
I'll just bring some beers with me.
Well, you sweat it out. You get some water in you. You'll feel good.
Get the hair of the dog.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah, everybody have a great weekend. Magic and I think we'll be doing this one again on Monday, the side by side. So we also will have our members only market update this weekend on Sunday. So we do that every Wednesday night and Sunday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, right after the weekly close. On Sunday will be a good one into the new month here. We'll see how things start playing out. If anybody's interested in joining the Leading Crypto Discord server, obviously we have our information just below. There is a member portion. There is a general area as well. If you just want to come in, ask some questions, reach out, whatever. Yeah, other than that, I'm gonna go take some Advil, and hope you all have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Max, RIP to the stash, and. Dude, we didn't blow your face up for the whole screen today. So
what we should do is we should do a Star Wars overlay where it's Max's face with the mustache and without, and then it'll be like it'll be the thing where they goes, I feel a disturbance in the force. As though like a million people let out a cry in pain. Max shaved the stash. That would be cool.
Oh man, what you all missed was a private video Max sent to Magic and I where he was shaving it off, listening to what was it, Celine Dion or something, where it was like the Titanic song or something, where it's like.
You know what? I'll send it to the members. I'm proud of it. I'll send it to the members. It's a funny vid.
Right there. I'm being honest with you, it was pretty funny. I got a good laugh out of that.
Yeah. That one made us chuckle.
All right. Send it to the members.
Till next time, everybody. Magic, CVO, and the Prince of Dubai are out.